Hi guys, I'm Sean of GeauxSavvyDesigns and welcome. So if you haven't been here before, thank you for joining. If you have, welcome back. So today we're going to look at 5 things that you should know about starting machine embroidery. So number 1, what is your machine? You have to understand that the machine is the main tool and it is special. It helps you to stitch out cool designs so that you can have what you want for your customer or for yourself even. So the machine, you have to decide what machine you would like to have. Now, if you're going to be doing some things, there are machines, they do everything. They embroider, they stitch, they are used for sewing. So you have to decide what you want to do. If you are looking for a multi-needle, that's also something that you may want to look at. So machines, most important thing. So we can actually talk about machines a little bit later. How do you pick one? Now, there's a lot of them that you can see in different retailers. And believe me, my channel is not sponsored by anyone. So all of these opinions are all my own. So right now, there are machines where you can get them at Target, Joann's, you can get them at Walmart even. But one of the things that I would suggest is that you check it out for yourself. There is a thing called hoop envy, and we're going to get into hoops here in a second because that is the number 2 thing that you need to understand as a new embroiderer is the hoop. So for number 1, it's your machine. Number 2, it is the hoop. So as you're looking at machines, you need to understand what is the largest thing that you can embroider on that machine. Now, if you're just wanting to work with children's clothing, one of your basic ones that you can actually purchase out of your local retail stores is probably very good for you because that hoop size is probably going to be a 4x4. So you have to think of, okay, this is not a 4x4, this is probably a 5x7. So with this type of hoop, this hoop will be something that you can actually put Left Chef's logos. You can do something in the center. You can do something on kids' clothes for sure. But making sure that you understand the size of the hoop that comes with the embroidery machine is very important. Now, one of the things that they always say is, okay, like for this one, this is a 5x7, but in actuality, it's probably more like a 4x6 because there are these sides that you have to take into consideration and you can't hit them with your embroidery machine because it will mess it up. So this is very important. So number 2 is your hoop. When you're looking at hoops and you're looking at machines, you want to know the largest size hoop you can use. You also want to know if you want to use a mighty hoop, which is magnetic, on flatbed machines. Now, there are differences in the machines. So you have what's behind me. These are called multi-needles. And then you have the flatbed machines, which are the machines that you can likely find inside one of the large retailers. So here is a mighty hoop. This works with the multi-needle machines. And you can get them small, large, and here's a gigantic one like this one. It's like huge. So it depends on what you want to do. You can definitely get a hoop to fit your needs. So when you're looking at the things that you really want in a machine, figure out what it is you want to embroider. Based on what you want to embroider, then you may need a larger hoop, which means you're going to probably need to increase your budget because I'm quite sure that by now you know that any of our hobbies are pretty expensive, and an embroidery one is one of the most expensive ones because there are things that you're gonna need. All right, number 3, needles. Okay, so with every machine, there potentially could be different needles. So like, for example, I have a brother machine. It's a 10 needle. It's my 10 PX1055. Oh no, PR1055X. Love that machine. Like it's my pride and joy. I love that baby. So that machine uses a different needle from this multi-needle. So the machine needles are very important, and understanding the needles that you have to have. This is my needle box because I actually have 3 embroidery machines. I have the flatbed. I have a brother NQ1600E. I think the new one is NQ1700E. which means it's embroidery only. So there are different types of needles. There are different size needles, and we can go into needles at a later date, but you will need to purchase needles. And you see I have tons of them, and I'm missing some, so I have to go reorder needles. But you need to make sure that you know what kind of needle that is required for your machine, okay? As they are very important. And let me tell you, when you start having an issue with your machine, sometimes it's the needle. So just keep that in mind. Another thing that is on the top 5, so 1 was the machine, 2 the hoop, 3 the needles, and guess what? 4 is thread. So you have to know what kind of thread you would like to use with your embroidery. Now, I'm a Floriani girl. I love Floriani. I do have some Madeira threads too, but my go-to is always Floriani. So now, depending on the machine you have, you may need the small thread or the larger spools of thread. So it just depends on what machine you have and what it takes. As you can see behind me, that's some Madeira thread back there. That is the larger spools, like this Floriani thread. And on my brother, there's a mixture of Floriani. I see one Madeira up there, but there's Floriani on my brother. So you have options. And so thread is very important. Most of the time on my embroidery, actually all the time on my embroidery, I'm using some sort of poly. This is poly thread. It is not 100% cotton. I sew and quilt with 100% cotton, but this is poly. So thread is important. You have to know the colors. You're going to have some basics. There's going to be some things like this is variegated thread, which means it stitches out different colors at different times in different intervals, but it does repeat. And then, you know, you have all different colors. So kind of like my thread wall behind me here. And I have a second one over there. But yes, thread is important. All right. Now, the 5th thing, and hang on there because I have a bonus for you too. So the 5th thing that is most important in embroidery is stabilizer. So number 5 is stabilizer. So these are little helpers that keep the fabric from moving, and it also keeps your stitches intact. So these are the things, and you can't beat them. So those are the top 5. So let's go back over them one more time, and then I'm going to give you a bonus. So number 1, the machine. Number 2, the hoop. Number 3, your needles. Number 4, thread. And number 5 is stabilizers. All right, guys. So, but wait, there's a catch. So let me tell you something. Here's a bonus. You should always keep a lint brush, because I'm telling you, when you start embroidering, lint comes from everywhere. Oh my word. So you have to lint brush your materials before you start stitching. All right, bonus number 2, when you're new, go buy sample material. You can buy sample material in a lot of different places. One good place is the Dollar Tree store. They have all kinds of little things, shirts and socks and things that you can buy inexpensively that won't be bad. And guess what? You can stitch on them. Now, when you want to start stitching on towels, things like that, find you some from one of those dollar stores. It's $1, it's 99 cents. Whatever those stores are, and use them as your samples so that you can stitch out on them. All right, guys, that is it. That is the top 5 things that you can do when you're starting embroidery. So now I'm going to have 5 more things, but you got to stay for the rest. So catch me later. I'll give you 5 more things that you can look forward to when you're starting embroidery. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe because it helps my channel. Talk to you later. Bye.